Hello students, welcome to my class. Today is the first class for SEM 3 Mathematics General students, and here I am following the Calcutta University syllabus, and therefore the paper of this semester 3 is named as CC3 or G3. Now here I am just going to discuss the outline of the syllabus and the total marks, how many marks are allotted for which section. Okay, so the name of the paper is CC3 or G3, that is for course or for general elective. Okay, and this paper contains three sections. The first section is integral calculus, the second section is numerical analysis, and the third section is linear programming problem. Okay, so 20 marks are allotted for integral calculus, 30 marks are allotted for numerical analysis, and 30 marks are again allotted for linear programming problem. So there are total the distribution of 80 marks. Okay, but for your final exam the final exam will be of 65 marks. Okay, final exam 10 marks for internal assessment, 10 marks for attendance, and 15 marks for tutorial. Okay, so this is the total distribution of the 100 marks, that is 65 marks for final exam, 10 marks for internal assessment, 10 marks for attendance, and 15 marks for tutorial. Okay, so this 100 marks, the weightage of the 100 marks will be distributed like this. Okay, so now first I am going to discuss this topic, the numerical analysis. Okay, because this topic is this portion is very much easy to score, and I think it would be much easier for the students to understand also. Okay, so therefore I am starting with the section numerical analysis, and 30 marks is allotted for numerical analysis. Okay, so I am writing here numerical analysis. So what is numerical analysis and why we are going to read this portion? Okay, what is the necessity to study numerical analysis in our life? Okay, so the first portion of the first chapter of this portion, numerical analysis, is finite difference and interpolation. This is the first chapter of this portion, finite difference and interpolation. Okay, so first I am just giving you a very short description, that is what is the necessity to study numerical analysis in our life. Okay, so first of all we consider the function y is equal to f of x. So this is a relation. So clearly y is a function of x. So this shows that x is an independent variable, this is independent, and the y is dependent. Okay, y is dependent on x, right? So if I consider an example like that is y is equal to x square plus 3x plus 2. So this is an expression in x, and clearly y is a function of x. Okay, I am taking just an example of the relation y is equal to f of x, and clearly x is independent variable and y is dependent on x, because if you substitute the values of x in this relation, then you will get the values of y. Suppose this is the column for x and this is the column for y. So for x is equal to 0, you will get 0 square plus 3 into 0 plus 2. So you will get 2. For x equal to 1, you will get 1 square plus 3 into 1 plus 2. So you will get 3 plus 2 is 5, 6. For x is equal to 2, you will get 2 square plus 3 into 2 plus 2. So therefore 6 plus 2 is 8 plus 4 is 12. Similarly, for x equal to 3, you will get 3 square plus 3 into 3 plus 2. So this is 9 plus 9 is 18 plus 2 is 20. For x equal to 4, you will get 4 square plus 3 into 4 plus 2. Okay. So therefore 16 plus 12, that is 28 plus 2, 30. Okay. So substituting the values of x, you will get the values of y. So this shows that y is dependent on x. So y is the dependent variable and x is the independent variable. So for the values of the independent variables are called argument. Okay. And the values of the dependent variables are called entry. Okay. So for any intermediate values of x, so if you would like to have the values of, suppose for x is equal to 1.5, you would like to have the corresponding values of y for x equal to 1.5 for a very complicated function. This function is easily evaluated because this is a very simple function I have taken as an example. So if you consider it for an complicated function and for suppose x is equal to 1.5, x is equal to 1.7, which is very much difficult to calculate easily, then you can apply the method of numerical analysis, especially the method of interpolation, the numerical integration. There are different kinds of methods are there. So using the concept of numerical analysis, you can find out any values of y regarding to the corresponding values of x. Okay. So this is the usefulness of the numerical analysis, that is you can find out any values of y for any intermediate values of x, or I can say that you can find out any values of the entry for corresponding to any values of the argument. Okay. So this was just an example. Now suppose we have taken the values, suppose x, okay, x and y, suppose 1, 2, suppose 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. So 8, 10 and corresponding values of y, suppose that, don't consider this example, I am taking just another example. Okay. So this, suppose this is 15, this is 22, this is suppose 35, this is suppose 47, this is suppose 65. Okay. So these are the values of y corresponding to the values of x. These are the values of x and these are the values of y. Okay, it is given to you. Now the difference between the values of x, what is the difference between the values of x? Clearly 2, because 4 minus 2 is 2, 6 minus 4 is 2, 4 minus 2 is 2, 6 minus 4 is 2, 8 minus 6 is 2, 10 minus 8 is 2. Okay, so they are the equidistant values, and this common difference, suppose we are given a name, that is h. So h is equal to 2. This common difference is h and this h equal to 2. Now what would be the corresponding difference of y? That is, it would be suppose 22 minus 15, then 35 minus 22, then 47 minus 35, then 65 minus 47. So if we consider, suppose if we consider the value, suppose x is equal to x plus h is equal to x plus 2h is equal to x plus 3h comma x plus 4h. Okay, so the common difference is clearly h. Common difference is equal to h. Okay, so the corresponding values of y will be f of x plus h, f of x plus 2h, f of x plus 3h, f of x plus 4h. Okay, so so here the difference is h. Similarly, you can calculate the difference of the corresponding values of y, that is f of x minus h minus f of x. Similarly, f of x plus 2h minus f of x plus h. Okay, then f of x plus 3h minus f of x plus 2h. Okay, then finally f of x plus 4h minus f of x plus 3h. Okay, so these are the corresponding differences of y, because if we consider the x, that is x plus h minus x. Okay, therefore x plus 2h minus x plus h. Okay, x plus 3h minus x plus 2h, x plus 4h minus x plus 3h, all are equal to h actually. Okay, so these are the corresponding difference of x's and these are the corresponding differences of y. So these are actually called the finite difference. So this is called delta f of x, this is called delta f of x plus h, this is called delta f of x plus 2h, this is called delta f of x plus 3h. Okay, so these delta are called the finite difference operator. Okay, so this delta is the finite difference operator, and finite forward. Okay, finite forward difference operator. Similarly, we have a finite backward difference operator also. Okay, so for now just consider the finite forward difference operator. Actually, for difference operator we generally mean the finite forward difference operator. Okay, so this is called the first order difference, first order finite difference. Similarly, you will get the second order difference, similarly you will get the third order difference, and so on. So now I am considering this example. Okay, so hope you have understood this general expression of the finite difference, that is, if we consider the values of x, suppose x plus h, x plus 2h, x plus 3h, x plus 4h, then the common difference is obviously h, because if we subtract x plus h minus x from x plus h, then you will get h. If we subtract x plus h from x plus 2h, you will get h. Similarly, like that. So the common differences of the values of x is h. Now if we consider the differences in the values of the y, that is in the values of the entries, then you will get this one, and this is called the finite difference operator. Now if I am considering if I have considered an example, then I think it would be very much easier for you to understand. Okay, now I am just removing this one. So just remember that delta is equal to finite difference operator. Okay, so here clearly h is 2 because all are equidistant, and the common distance is 2. So the common distance here is 2. Now if we consider the first difference, that is delta y. Okay, similarly you will get the second difference, the third difference. Okay, so for the first difference, what will be the expression? That is 22 minus 15, you will get 7. Okay, Then 35 minus 22, you will get 13. Okay. Then 47 minus 35, you will get 2, 1, 12. Then 65 minus 47, you will get, what is it, 57 and 57 18. Okay. So this is the column for the first difference. So now this is x, this is y, this is delta y. Okay. So this is the column for the first difference, and you have already seen that there are actually 5 values previously. Now in the column delta I, delta y, there are 4 values. So it's the number of values is decreasing. Okay. Similarly, so just 22 minus 15, 35 minus 22, 47 minus 35, 65 minus 47. Just this is just the finite difference. Okay. So this is very simple. So this is delta y. Now what is delta square y? Delta square y will be 13 minus 7, that is 6. Similarly 12 minus 13, that is minus 1, and similarly 18 minus 12, that will be 6. So 13 minus 7, 12 minus 13, and 18 minus 12. Okay. So the process is like that. Okay. The previous will be subtracted from the latter. Okay. So there are, so in the column delta y, there are 4 elements. Now in the delta square, the y, that is 3 elements. Okay. So again, so what is delta cube y? Delta cube y will be minus 1 minus 6. So that means minus 7, and 6 minus minus 1, that is 6 plus 1 is 7. Okay. Because minus 1 is the latter portion. So minus 1 minus 6, clearly minus 7. And here the latter portion is 6. So 6 minus minus 1, that means 6 plus 1 is 7. So again there are 2 elements. So the number of elements are decreasing gradually. Okay. Now again delta 4y. So what will be delta 4y? That is 7 minus minus 7, that is equal to 7 plus 7 is equal to 14. Okay. So we have reached to a single value. So how long this process will continue? That is until we have reached to a single value. Okay. So the process will be continued in such a way such that we will get a single value. So here is the single value is 14, and clearly the number of elements is decreasing in every steps. Okay. So this is called the finite difference table. This is called finite difference table. Okay. So this is just a simple example, and this kind of table can be in your final exam, and maybe there will be the 2 columns. These 2 columns will be given to you, and you have to create a finite difference table. So you will create a finite difference table in such a way. Okay. So these 2 columns will be given to you, the column x and column y, and you have to create these difference columns, and you have to continue it until you will reach to a single value. Okay. So this is an example of the finite difference table. Okay. So now I am writing here a very useful result of finite difference table. Okay. So I hope you have understood this. Now I am going to remove it. Okay. So I have removed it. So the result is, this is actually a theorem, but the result is very much important, and this result is very much useful for solving problems especially. Okay. That is, if the function is a nth degree polynomial, then the nth difference will be constant. Then the nth difference will be constant. So how do you prove that? Though the proof is not necessary, but I am writing here this proof actually to make you understand that how you will get the nth difference and what will be the expression for the nth difference. Okay, so first the function is a nth degree polynomial. Okay, so that's why the previously we have discussed that when y is equal to f of x, we have discussed that y is equal to x square plus 3x plus 2. We have taken this example, and clearly here y is a function of x, and this function is actually a polynomial function of degree 2, because here the highest degree of the x is 2. So this is a polynomial function of degree 2. Now here in this theorem it has told that the function is a polynomial function of degree n. Okay, nth degree polynomial. So I have taken y such as ax to the power n plus bx to the power n minus 1 plus cx to the power n minus 2 plus dot dot plus kx plus l. Okay, where a, b, c, l are all constants. Okay, so clearly this is a polynomial function of degree n, because the highest degree is here is n. So this y is actually f of x. So y is f of x and this f of x is like that. Okay, so what will be the f of x plus h? Because I have to calculate the nth difference. Okay, so for which I have to calculate the first difference, then second difference, then third difference, and coming gradually we will get the nth difference. Okay, so what is x plus h? So there will be x plus h in the place of x just. So a x plus h to the power n plus b x plus h to the power n minus 1 plus c x plus h to the power n minus 2 plus dot dot plus k x plus h plus l. Okay, so here just in place of x there will be x plus h. So in place of x there is x plus h. So what is the first difference? That is delta y. What is delta y? That is f of x plus h minus f of x. Okay, I have already discussed in my previous example. So what is this? So I have taking the constants as a common for each portion. Okay, so for this portion x plus h to the power n minus x to the power n plus b x plus h to the power n minus 1 minus x to the power n minus 1 plus c x plus h to the power n minus 2 minus x to the power n minus 2 plus dot dot plus k into h plus l. Okay, so this is the expression of the first order difference. Okay, so now we know that x plus h to the power n minus x to the power n by h is equal to n x to the power n minus 1. We already know that this is a known relation actually. So if we substitute this, if we substitute nh x to the power n minus 1 in the place of this, that is in the place of this, we will get a nh x to the power n minus 1. Similarly, I'm just concentrating on the highest degree part. Okay, similarly you will get b dash x to the power n minus 2 plus c dash x to the power n minus 3. I'm not going to write the elaborate expression of b dash c dash like this. Okay, so this is kh plus l, k dash h plus l. Okay. So similarly you can get the second order difference like that, and this second order difference, the expression for the second order difference will be, finally I am writing the, finally the second order difference will be just delta of f of x. Okay, the second order, that means delta of f of x plus h minus f of x. Okay, so that will be delta of f of x plus h minus delta of f of x. Okay, and the final expression will be like that: a n h x to the power n minus 2 b dash b double dash x to the power n minus 3 plus c double dash x to the power n minus 4 plus k double dash plus k double dash. Okay, and here will be also. So it is clear that firstly the order of f of x was n, then in the first difference the order is reducing by 1, so its highest degree order is n minus 1. In the second difference the highest degree order is n minus 2. So if we are continuing like this, then we will get the nth difference. So what will be the nth difference then? So delta n y is equal to, that is delta n f of x, you can also write, is equal to a n n minus 1 n minus 2 up to 1 h to the power n x to the power n minus n. So a h to the power n, and this means factorial n, and this is x to the power 0, x to the power 0 is 1. So a h to the power n factorial n. So this relation is very important. So delta n y is equal to a h to the power n factorial n. So this is the nth difference, and here a is constant, h is constant, and if n is known, n is also constant. So factorial n. So therefore the total portion is a constant. So if y is a function of nth degree polynomial, so if y is a nth degree polynomial, then its nth difference is constant. Okay, I am just giving you the description to make you understand. So if you don't want to follow this very in detail, then you can just remember this expression. Okay, this is a very important expression, that is delta n y is equal to a h to the power n factorial n if y is a function of a nth degree polynomial. Okay, so this is the general expression. Now I can give you some example on this relation. Okay, so just continue to the movie to the next class and just stay tuned. Okay, thank you.